it's Simon from Higher Plane Games with a review of Sonar Beat. This is a rhythm action game available on PC and Mac that came out last week, and full disclosure, the developer sent me across a copy to take a look at for review. That doesn't change my opinion in any way, shape or form, but I do love a rhythm game, so I said yes please. So, Sonar Beat is a really interesting experience because it takes the rhythm genre and applies this whole sonar radar like aesthetic and gameplay element to it, which I really quite enjoyed. So, the way how this game works, think of yourself as being in the centre of a sonar radar and missiles or enemies are coming towards you. It's just that it's musical. And what happens is that the sonar radar spins round in a 360 degrees around your screen, illuminating these enemies that are effectively beats or rhythm sections that you'll need to click on with your mouse to make them disappear and explode or die. Now, because this game is primarily mouse based, if you've got one enemy in front of you in like one line, you'll have to left click. If you've got two or more, you'll have to left and right click together to basically eliminate all of them, otherwise it will only eliminate one. And sometimes you'll need to like press and hold stuff. Very similar, very simple rhythm action stuff. The crux of the game then comes in though, is that when you miss a note, it basically moves from the outer ring to the middle ring. And so when you next come round with the sonar radar, it's not only playing out the notes that you need to with the song, but you've then still got the note that's coming towards you, like think like a missile again, coming to the centre boat, and you need to press that again alongside what you need to get rid of it, because otherwise it's going to move to the inner ring, and if you miss it again, it will hit your ship, you'll lose a life, game over. Essentially. And I really like that kind of mechanic because it's really thought about, do you know what, how does sonar radar work? How can I apply it to a rhythm action game and genre? And it really works quite niftily. The game does a really poor explanation of telling you any of that though. The tutorial is really incomplete and didn't explain to me exactly how things work properly at all. So it wasn't until I was actually quite deep in the game and I was like, that's what's actually happening. So take it with a pinch of salt if there are some more gameplay mechanics, because they simply aren't explained at the beginning of the game. Now, whilst this is really great in terms of game design, what it does mean is that as soon as you start getting onto the middle difficulty tracks and then the hard and so on and so forth, which I barely got to because although there's only 12 tracks in the game, the difficulty curve ramps up quite quickly after say like the third or fourth track. What it does mean is that if you keep missing stuff, it's essentially only going to make the game harder and harder and harder for you until you get to this like sheer cliff wall of overwhelm, and then it's game over very quickly. And there's very little chance once you start making mistakes to be able to claw yourself back in again. And that's just down to the nature of the design of the game. So it's all about making sure that you hit things right first time so that you can balance out all of the beats that are going on around you. The other two negatives that I have particularly for the game, the first one is that the music is forgettable and really not of high quality. And alongside that, the charts themselves don't really seem to mirror anything that's going on with the music itself. Occasionally they sync up, but it's few and far between. And so it felt very much like I was just clicking to whatever was coming towards me and there was some music accompanying me in the background. So from a rhythm action perspective, the two don't really gel that well together. The last thing that I'd mention as well is that whilst this is mouse based, it does say that you can use controllers and keyboards, but what I found is that as soon as I stopped using the mouse and I used a controller, the button mapping settings just didn't seem to want to work with me at all, and I found that actually playing with the mouse was the most accurate way that it would actually take my measurements on board. So whilst there's little in the way of calibration, at least the mouse seems to work if other devices don't necessarily do so well. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird recommendation, this one, for Sonar Beat. I really like the game mechanic and aesthetic and the way how it's put that into the rhythm action design. This is going to be a niche game. It's going to be for the hardcore rhythm action people who can understand and do something a little bit different with their rhythm games. But yeah, it's a very steep learning curve, a difficult experience that's not well explained with poor music. So from a rhythm action perspective, that doesn't sound so great, but it is a genuinely unique experience, and from that perspective, If you're after the weird and wonderful games like I am, this is a tentative recommendation. Maybe for sale. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. You guys take care, and I'll catch you again on High Playing Games. Bye for now. This channel is just one of my many projects that cover games, music and film. If you enjoy any of these and would consider supporting me to develop further in the future, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/Satorimon. Thank you for your time and for watching the video.